Good evening, everyone. It's going to be a good show tonight. We will be getting it. I know I sound like a clickbaity YouTuber at this point. Oh my gosh, an attack on Iran is about to happen. War imminent. It's going to happen. It actually seems like it will happen, though. So, yes, we will be talking more about that. Little update from where we were a couple days ago. Didn't stream yesterday, so we're going to catch up as well on economic data that came out. We will also be talking about Delcy Rodriguez' phone call that happened. I thought she was going to come to the United States and visit and step on land. No, she's too scared, of course. She doesn't want to get kidnapped like Maduro did. Not like there's a... We're not going to break a sweat by attempting to capture her if we really had to, but it seems like we're giving her the pass. So she's still proudly in Venezuela. She only had a phone call with Trump, which we will be discussing. I don't know the details, but I have an article pulled up, so we'll go through that together. We will also be talking about the Supreme Court decision. It got delayed. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing ever happens. Maybe this whole war on Iran is just not going to happen either. But things are ramping up pretty quickly. I don't know. It seems like everything, they're like, oh, it's about to happen. This time it will. All these troops are moving. Airspace is getting cleared. And then, I don't know. We heard the same thing over and over past couple of weeks. Will it finally be the change this time? People are making it seem like it's seriously about to happen. Hey, it's not my call to confirm or deny whether or not an attack on Iran will happen, but we shall see. And if it does happen, why is Bitcoin rising? I mean, I'm not complaining. I kind of am complaining. I'm not in it, so I went out over here at 91k. We're at 96,000 for Bitcoin, by the way. What happened? Why are we even rising? We will be talking about that as well. Okay. Let's go to let's get to the technical analysis first. So Bitcoin had a good rise since we were last streaming. It was around 91,000. Rose broke through the resistance of 94,000. No big deal at all. We were actually shooting up to our next resistance around 97,000. And this happened on the afternoon of January 13 yesterday, hitting a high of 96,702, almost 97,000 basically. And today we broke through that. If we're looking at this from like a more of a macro perspective, yeah, pay attention to the Fibonacci levels, which 98,000 was a level I've called from the past. Like I said, I'm not complaining that we're up here. It's a good thing, but it just doesn't really make sense in my opinion. Main reason for the rise, what I would think, is the Supreme Court decision delay, which I don't think that's that good of a valid reason for us to be rising, but markets are rising nonetheless. So the reason we are rising is because we're just kicking the bucket down the road, sweeping it under the rug, whatever analogy you want to use. We're pushing this to a later date. Whether or not the Supreme Court rules that Trump's tariffs are legal or illegal. Maybe coincidence, by the way, because we just put a 25% tariff on any country that negotiates with Iran, that trades with Iran. Sort of to also put pressure on them even more economically, apart from how much their economy is already suffering. You can literally buy... What is it? You can... It's worth €0, right? Their currency. I don't know how to explain the numbers, but yeah, I'm not a Forex guy. Anyways, so that's the reason why I would explain Bitcoin's price has been on the rise. So we stopped at 98,000. The highest today was 97,900. Not too bad. What's the next stop? Obviously 100,000. Will that happen? No. It's a guarantee from me that it will not happen. I don't know. I'm going against the world's highest IQ man in the world, by the way. I don't want to say Kim Jong-un. What is his name? Kung Him Ching. Dude. What is his name? His name is Kim. Not Kim Kardashian. Oh my gosh. What is his name? 276 IQ. Bro, what are you? Here it is. Young Hoon Kim. He believes that Bitcoin is going to hit 100,000 in the next 24 hours. Well, you've got about 13 hours left and counting. He's predicting all this random stuff like, oh, the next 24 hours matter, and he happens to be correct. Well, you don't drive the capital in the world, so how do you even know? And just because he's flexing his IQ of 276, he believes that Bitcoin will indeed hit 100,000 just because he said so. I don't know. He also called for 150,000 Bitcoin last year, let's not forget. I will hang that over his head until the end of existence. XRP is about to pump hard. Wow, so did everything else, but okay, he's taking credit for the XRP pump as well. How much did XRP even pump? Was it anything good? I've not looked at XRP. We'll break our tradition a little bit. You call this a pump? I mean, this one maybe, sure. And this happened a couple days ago, but this is already way later than when he called it. This was a 30% pump out already happened on XRP. And by the way, since then we have erased 12% of that. And the most recent pump that we just had, a 7% pump. Okay. That's like a one-day call. Sure, tell us what's going to happen tomorrow. Well, I mean, he's already calling for 100,000 Bitcoin. I really don't think that's going to happen. We shouldn't be rising, in my opinion. We're about to go into a war. Iran attack imminent. You're seeing it all over the headlines. We are in an uptrend, though. I don't think we're going to, like, break our uptrend and go all the way down. We could, but I really don't think we will. Areas of accumulation, you're looking at anything below 91,500 to 90,500. This zone over here, great for accumulation if that was to happen. And I must, at this point, go all in because I'm not saying like 100,000 will never be broken. It can, and it probably will, even by the end of this month. I wouldn't deny that. But for this week specifically, I've called it it was expected to be a very high volatility week. And we did get some good volatility and toward the upside. So if you were in trade, congratulations. Take profits now. Me personally, I would, but I'm not telling you to do it. I mean, you can hold until 1 million Bitcoin. Go for it. I'm out. I've already been out. I got out early, so what am I even talking about, right? Sure, whatever. We'll push that to the side for now, but I do expect, of course, a bit of a retracement. If that Iran war is about to happen, right? Arguably, there's no reason for us to drop for it either, like logically thinking about it, but when a war does break out, when stuff hits the fan, it's people will get rid of their risky assets first. What's more riskier than Bitcoin? The riskiest asset in the world. Oh no. Yeah, people are going to get rid of it. So you can expect a drop on it is what I would speculate. We also hit a very major resistance at 98,000. 100,000, of course, being the most important one, I understand. Maybe we can rise toward it, but breaking 100,000, I don't expect us to do so. We're going to need some more reaccumulation before we gather enough strength to go ahead and break through that. This strength that we've had over here, it's because we've been consolidating for a while before that. Sure, fair enough, go for it, enjoy the gains, nice. A retracement is necessary. I'm looking to 90 to 91,500. So 90,500 to 91,500. And that's only for this week. Of course, time moves on. This level keeps rising. New support levels would also continue rising. Uptrend would also, as time goes by, you understand the price level goes up for it. So it would all depend on time as well. For this week specifically, that's what I view. It sucks, I understand. Look at the funding rate. Negative. A lot of people are shorting this too. I would never short Bitcoin. I'm against that. I believe that Bitcoin should be longed forever to make yourself and the rest of the world rich if you do fundamentally believe in the project. But of course there's traders and people want to trade, and I don't know why you would short in an uptrend, but hey, be my guest. If you manage to time the perfect top, go for it. I don't know that strategy yet, so please teach me. Anyways, that being said, have we even talked about Bitcoin at all here? 96,430 is the current price. That's my little projection, a drop to 90 to 91,500. Okay. You'll notice I don't have my Zcash short position. Yeah, it was rising, of course. As soon as I go short, everything can rise. Go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We'll forget about Zcash for now. If I remember to go back to it, we will. So we're at Ethereum here. 3,325 is the current price. Really good rise. I like it. About a 10% rise. We hit our resistance too at 3,400. Highest was $3,401.33. Super trend is also on the rise, departing from the 3,000 level. Good. So it's 3,050 I would estimate a good support level at. Although, yeah, I don't know. I don't plan on accumulating Ethereum still. Yes, this area was good for accumulation. I did mention that, but I thought it would maybe drop a little bit more, and I was just not interested in buying Ethereum anyway, so there's that. Negative funding rate, by the way, meaning that a lot more positions are likely being shorted. I'm sure this was what it means, right? Let me just confirm before I spread misinformation on the internet. What does a negative funding rate mean in futures? Okay. Short sellers are paying long traders. Short positions pay long. The market is bearish or pessimistic. There are more shorts than longs, or shorts are more aggressive than the longs, and the futures price is below the spot price. Yeah. So I'm not spreading misinformation. I'm actually correct. I looked this up on ChatGPT. I know. Many traders expect the price to fall from here. If the price starts rising, it could trigger a short squeeze, pushing price up fast. So there's like this big counter risk as well. So because a lot of people are shorting, that means it can just continue shooting up like that if a domino effect of short liquidations, short squeeze occurs, right? Okay. Strongly negative funding can signal a potential bounce or reversal. It's not like we're being oversold, so who knows? High volatility expectations nonetheless. Guys, can we talk about Monero? This thing does not stop rising. And do I regret not entering? Yeah, probably. How was I supposed to know that we were just immediately about to rip up like this? Come on, nobody knew. But hey, I still pointed it out. I said, hey, Zcash gone, maybe Monero next. And Monero was indeed next. Well, there you go. We hit an all-time high of $800.93. We have since dropped down a little bit to $725. The volatility on this thing is insane. We've been going up like 10, 15, 20%, 7% up today. It's pretty insane. Overall, a rise from like this bottom, let's just say, of like almost 90%. Yeah, name another coin that'll do that. Interesting. Okay, so uptrend invalidates at 548, well above our previous all-time high levels. I might have to delete this. I think I'm going to keep it there just in case. Because if this was a major resistance in the past, it's likely going to become a support. And yes, I will be buying at what Monero used to be considered at an all-time high, as crazy as that sounds. If I am presented with the chance, of course. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll expect a downtrend on it first. I'm talking way far in the future, but we'll see. Negative funding rate as well. Everything is, man. Sui, positive funding rate. Okay, great. Finally breaking the chain. Had a big wick up 12%, hitting a high of 196 yesterday. Today, we're kind of a little bit on the way down from that high. Current price is 181, literally the same price that we were looking at it on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So this is not the volatility I like to see on Sui. This is the volatility I like to see on Sui. And you know what else I'd like to see on Sui? An October 10th situation when we dropped to 50 cents from $3. How beautiful is that? No, I'm kidding, of course, I'm joking. But yeah, breakout above $2 seems very likely for Sui because we do still have the uptrend in our favor, momentum in our favor, right? RSI is like flat at almost 50, 48, right? So we have enough strength to push higher and break out to possibly $2.20. If we do, I will be close to positive, right? 233 is my break-even price. Please, for the love of my portfolio, break that. Even like with a good breakout like that, we could rally pretty decently till anything from 250 to 260 on a good run before we get hit with this big downtrend over here that we're going to have to worry about. This one comes from its all-time high, I think. I hope. No, not even. Let's draw the one from the all-time high. Oh, it's even longer. Okay, sure. I still expect a good run. Oh, no higher than $3 though before... I don't know. We might get a good rise to 250 first, like I said, before we approach this downtrend line. On the weekly chart, we might retrace a little bit, hit one of our support levels, either at $2 or at 172. 172 still a very important level in my opinion. And then after we break out of this weekly downtrend, we could hopefully approach anything above $3. We're looking at targets, but we're talking about months in advance from here if things are supposed to recover the way they are and we get a good rally from, I don't know, a lot of liquidity hitting the market potentially. All right, moving on to BitTensor. Did we do the meme? No, we didn't. Okay, so we didn't get the drop that we wanted. I'm just going to delete this at this point. I don't think BitTensor will drop. Or maybe we will because of Iran stuff. You know what, I'm keeping it here. But my point stands. This is still expected to happen. I'm just moving this over, okay? I still expect the price to drop. We weren't really able to fully break out above 300. We did tap it. We hit a high of $302.23 on BitTensor. And currently on our way down a little bit, 286. But still holding decently strong. Uptrend is still in our favor. Invalidates at 260 and below. That's the area I'm expecting it to drop to reaccumulate, go max along, and once again retest the 300, which I think the next time we do test it, it should be pretty easy to break. Every time we've approached it, we've been going a little higher with the wicks that we get on it in the 4-hour chart. First attempt, we hit a high of 298. Second attempt was $342. And then this most recent attempt that happened this morning, we hit a high of $302.23. So by $2 every time, $2 at a time, we're weakening this resistance until we inevitably break out of it and head to something 333 potentially. I'm focusing on Fibonacci levels because I'm expecting this breakout to happen after this week, right? We don't know what next week pivot levels are going to look like, so gonna have to wait and see for that, but I'm just basing it off of Fibonacci for now. So 333 potential good target if you do manage to enter at 260. That is a trade and a half if you manage to pull this off. Something like that, literally. If I do see this, I will go. So there you go. That's my plan. Lovely. Hyperliquid down 1.25%, $25.47. We just did this fake out for absolutely no reason. I just got stop hunted, it appears, because you guys remember my position. I went along right over here, but basically perfect bottom. Stop loss right below this. Whatever, invalidation. The uptrend invalidation. Yeah, we approached this downtrend line, which now this time we broke out of, so there you go. The super trend is still, you know, working as expected. But, yeah, well, I got stopped out at break even. I didn't lose money on this trade, so that was the only good thing. But, I mean, I just missed out on this gain if I just hadn't used a stop loss. But, hey, whatever. Stop loss is there to protect you. Even in a fake out like this, like, come on. Come on, really? For absolutely no reason. Just decided to stop hunt me and is like, nope, you're not going to take advantage of the 13% rise that's about to happen in the next 2 days. So, hey, congratulations. My heart goes out to you. Let's move on. I mean, okay, sorry. I'm being too harsh on Hyperliquid. Uptrend is in our favor. Invalidates at $23. Anything approaching close to below $23. No, not below 23, but close to 23. Then, yeah, that's a good entry price for it. I think we can get rid of this downtrend line then and focus more on this new uptrend line, which should take us down here. That's where we should be. That's what we should be following in terms of an uptrend. The rise can take us to potentially $30. I don't see a problem with that. Hyperliquid's got good room to rise about another 20%. In that case, if all things go in its favor, of course. If we go to war in the next 2 hours, then yeah, 10% drop on Hyperliquid. I'm buying, as long as we obviously, you know, do the swing motion. All right, lovely. Go to Chainlink. Didn't drop as expected, but I guess we're doing the sine wave of a rise. I was expecting us to break out of the downtrend line. Seems like we didn't drop first, so we just started rising. We didn't rise with enough strength, which is why we're slowing down. Highest we hit today was $14.39 on Chainlink. And, well, like I said, we don't have enough strength, so we're going to have to come back down a little bit, recover some more strength, and then do the thing with the rise, which now I'm expecting this to happen, I guess. This looks horrible, though. So the projection didn't really work, but I'm still expecting the same thing. Okay, that's terrible. Hold on. Here, this is what I'm expecting. Something like that. And where it's going to take a couple weeks, of course, for this to manifest. So we'll see. Expected drop toward anything below 13, greater area of accumulation or chain length. That's what I'll pay attention to. I kind of want a war to happen so that these prices would drop just a little bit, not too much. And I know it's cynical to say, yeah, let's go to war. No, but okay, whatever. Find an excuse. Same deal with Aptos here. I got fake outed once again. Hey, at least this downtrend is invalid. And we do have an uptrend in our favor once again. Just like that. We flip emotions like we flip burgers at McDonald's. So Aptos went from a low of 172, stopping me out here at a stop loss. This one did hit a stop loss, so I just lost money for basically no reason. Even though my projection was right, we still rose to about $2. I had my take profit at 194, so that would have absolutely hit. But no, we hit the stop loss first, flipped the trend over, and then we're like, oh, we're only in a downtrend for a day, so we're just going to stop you out. And then go max height rise of 15%, hit $2 resistance once again, and then slightly decay. So the beauty of trading is the world versus me, so it's fine. I'll get my revenge eventually. Yeah, uptrend is still looking good, I guess, if this is what we're expecting for it. Drop toward anything below 180 is where I'll possibly re-enter Aptos. The super trend is still on the rise, so I wouldn't expect it to drop to 170, so to speak. It could still continue rising even to 180, so I'd look for 180. Sub 180, a possible good entry for Aptos. Lovely. That is 22 minutes of technical analysis. I was going to talk about Zcash real quick. What happened with Zcash? We're up 3% today, so yeah, the downtrend thing didn't really work out as expected. I mean, it was kind of in the green when I ended stream last time I showed you guys this. It looked okay. But we didn't continue dropping. It seems like nobody cares that Zcash has no dev team anymore, so we're just going to reward it and pump and give it an uptrend. Okay, sure. Do your thing. 429 is the current price, so I got stopped out at that pivot level, 424. We hit a high today of $448.67. No laughing at 6-7 jokes in 2026. This means that the low point is now going to be our support, so 360. Meaning that, I mean, if you really want to go long on Zcash, expect a war dropping at 16%. You buy at 360, you go max long, you make profit. Not financial advice. But yeah, that's what to expect for now. I don't expect this, honestly, to rise too much. I would not go long on Zcash anymore. I've taken it out of my list. I don't plan on buying Zcash anymore. If anything, I do see any opportunities of Zcash is for short positions. I'll gladly short the coin. Although I don't know. It's a bit risky for that too, because it's got the Bitcoin tokenomics, the anti-inflation, the supply-demand thing. Is there really a demand for a coin that has no dev team anymore? Some people think it's a good thing. It makes it more decentralized and all that. Monero doesn't have a dev team, right? So what's the big deal? And I get your point, but come on. Come on, look at the founders, man. All right, anyway. No more discrimination. Uptrend for Zcash, kinda, so enjoy it while you can. That's what you're looking at. Okay, cool. But still caution you on this downtrend is what I would... Let's get on to the news. So, Trump initially said, yeah, we're gonna have diplomacy, maybe. JD Vance was saying, yeah, let's not attack and let's just discuss with these Iranian officials a way to end like these... I don't know what the plan was. Do regime change without people dying. Okay, sure. Like that's ever going to happen. Trump eventually said he canceled all his meetings with Iranian officials until the killing of protesters stops, urging Iranians to continue protesting and saying that help is on the way. We'll talk about that in a second. First, I want to talk about this. Iran's foreign minister says that it's the Israeli agents who are shooting protesters and police in an attempt to draw Trump into the conflict. So he's literally saying Israel wants this war. they're the ones who are shooting the civilians, the protesters, and the cops, and making it look like, oh, look, it's the regime. The Iranian regime is evil, and we should have regime change because they're killing their protesters. Trump, look what they're doing. Come bomb them. That's what he's kind of explaining in this clip. Trump has warned already that the US will take very strong action if Iran hangs protesters. And he kind of already mentioned that, no, we're not hanging nobody. We're not killing nobody. All right, Trump. He said something like, oh, on Friday we're going to be hanging people. No, we're not going to do public executions on the people. So, yeah, dude, it's crazy. And we're also getting stuff like this. I'm not going to show this, but new video from Iran. Viewer discretion advised. An Iranian friend of Laura Loomer sent this footage from Iran. So many, they're claiming now it's nearly 20,000 Iranians. I really hope it's not true, in a sense. That first of all, that's a lot of people. And honestly, I don't know if these numbers are being inflated to kind of increase the severance of the conflict, but I also don't want to belittle it. Like, what if it is actually 20,000 people or more? Like, that is terrible, sure. And we must do something about it if that is the case. But maybe that's the tactic, maybe? Just maybe? I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not from there. Don't care. Well, I care, but come on. They're claiming that nearly 20,000 Iranians have been murdered by Khamenei Junior. Is it Junior or Ear? I thought it was always Junior. Sorry. Regime for protesting for their freedom. That the streets are lined with dead bodies and body bags. I mean, the videos don't lie. I have seen them, and yeah, there are dead people and body bags. And they were also doing something scummy, which I talked about, is, hey, pay us $4,000 if you want us to give you the bodies. Otherwise, I don't know, families, come here, identify them if you can. If you can't, we're just going to do mass burials, and yeah, we're just shooting all these protesters. There aren't enough body bags to keep up with the death toll. You can see people wearing face masks because the stench of the dead bodies is overwhelming. Women can be heard screaming and crying in the background as they search for their relatives' bodies, amid a room full of dead bodies and covered in horrific wounds from automatic rifles. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy now. This is the post that Trump posted on Truth Social. Iranian patriots keep protesting is what he says. Take over your institutions. He's literally encouraging this. Save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. I have cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on the way. Okay. Come on, Trump. So he posted that yesterday. That help is on the way. He already gave the order for citizens of the United States to leave, get out, evacuate, which we talked about. So what's next? Greg Fornell, thank you. Good content. Crypto news before going to bed. Thank you. I appreciate. I'm happy that you enjoy it. All right. The U.S. will attack Iran in the coming days. This will not be a limited strike, but a powerful one designed to overthrow the current regime, is what Israel's Channel 14 is saying. They're closely linked to Netanyahu, so maybe they know something. We also have reports. U.S. attack on Iran imminent. Troops are being pulled from the bases. We've also heard that Saudi Arabia said, we're going to prohibit our airspace from being used by Americans to attack Iran, by the way. I mean, they always do that. They did the same thing last year. Anonymous official confirms personnel withdrawal as precaution. Anonymous official. How true is this if it's anonymous? But anyway, all signals are that a U.S. attack is imminent. Unpredictability is part of the strategy, which is true. Strike window potentially opening tonight. Why tonight? Because the airspace. The airspace is a good indicator as to why people believe it's going to happen tonight. The Israeli government aircraft used by Netanyahu, they were gone, by the way. They left Israeli airspace. His wife is in Miami with their son. They're literally in the United States. In past escalations, this step has also been taken to secure political and military leadership ahead of or during major operations, with the Prime Minister's aircraft doubling as a mobile command post. This is not a routine movement. All right. We also have confirmed that Iran announces the closure of its airspace to civilian air traffic, not to military air traffic. We are also seeing reports that around Israel, the Iron Dome surface-to-air missile launchers are being spotted moving today, possibly in preparation for a retaliatory strike from Iran. They have been deployed in Jerusalem and the Israel Central Sector. They're expecting something. We also have reports of this coming out. I don't know why they're doing this, by the way. News Nation reports that the USA is moving the aircraft carrier strike group Abraham Lincoln from the South China Sea to the Middle East, which will take about a week to arrive. So these warships coming here by next week, that means we're expecting the attack to happen next week, or we're expecting a second wave or a defensive, I don't know, by next week. That's why we're getting these ships in preparation over here. Interesting. Okay. The military bases. Please take shelter. Be cautious. The bombs will start flying at any moment, says I don't know who. Source, trust me, bro. The U.S. is pulling hundreds of troops out of Al Udeid Air Base and other Middle East bases as tensions with Iran escalate. Personnel are being moved to reduce risk of possible retaliation if the U.S. bombs Iran. This is not routine, it's preparation. Verify Grok. Yes, reliable sources including Reuters, which gave us fake news last time, that's why I blocked them. But don't worry, The Guardian, NBC, they confirm that the U.S. is indeed relocating some personnel from their Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar and other Middle East sites as a precaution amid escalating tensions with Iran. This follows reports of potential U.S. intervention, not a full withdrawal, but a risk reduction measure. The pizza thing is also going crazy. Israel fighter jets also flew toward Iran. Sounds of jets over the skies of Tuz Kurmatu, Iraq, and Wasit Governorate, Iraq. Okay, cool. Verify this, Grok. There's no confirmation. Okay, so it's just fake news. There you go. But it's only audio. Claims are unverified. No visual evidence. You could fake it. And if Israeli jets are already there, they must have done something. I'm not sure. They're just flexing their stuff. Or maybe they are. I don't know. Maybe they're just testing. Like, do they detect us entering their airspace? Because like last year, you got to remember, they did a surprise attack on Iran. They were not prepared for it when they bombed their nuclear site and carried out decapitation strikes against major nuclear scientists and Iranian military officials, right? So, I don't know. They're pretty good at that. We shall see. We have a Polymarket account. Yes, we love Polymarket. Created 40 minutes ago as of 4 p.m. So that's 5 hours and 40. We'll call it 6 hours ago, okay? I already made a purchase of a $160,000 position that the US will strike Iran today. Who do you know that can drop 160 grand on a bet like this? That US will strike Iran today. This guy's about to lose a lot of money if not true. Or maybe he makes bank if true. This is the only market he is betting on. So a freshly created account, bets a lot of money. The only thing he bets on, and it's going to happen today. He's still buying, still has 16,000 cash left in his wallet. We can track his trades here. Well, don't mind if I do. Mutual Delta. Guy's losing 30 grand already. But, I mean, the day is not really up yet. Oh my god, you're losing 34 grand. What are you doing, man? He's betting on it happening today. 15% chance it happens tomorrow. What's the highest percent chance? By June 30? Yeah, it's a 70% chance. I mean, everybody that bets that the strike will indeed happen, whether it happens today, tomorrow, or even June 30, you're getting a good payout nonetheless. Safe to bet? Can I log in? Stop logging me out. You're annoying. That's not the account, damn it. Log in. Oh my gosh, I did not click that. Okay. Here we go. Okay, well, now we have to go back. Thank you. How much money? Can I go max? I'm not even logged in? You're lying. Okay, well, it logged me out. You know what? Screw it. I'm not betting on this. But whatever. So there's that stuff. But hey, even the government is noticing. They're like, okay, all these people that are insider trading on Polymarket, like, come on. What are you doing? Remember this, a newly registered Polymarket account also spent $30,000 only one day before the US captured Maduro is a common occurrence, and when they're right, they're right. This trader won $400,000 24 hours later. We talked about this trade. Crazy. And we speculated it was one of the World Liberty Financial founders. I forget his name. Steven something. World Liberty Financial. Let's go to the About section. There's this guy. Stephen Witkoff. Was Stephen Witkoff? Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, and then these are his sons or something. So we suspect it's this guy. But I don't know. That's just based off usernames, and people can make up any username they want. So they probably decided Steve Witkoff, the special envoy. All right. Well, 2 weeks ago, these guys reported on an insider trader who won the $400,000 betting on Maduro losing the power. And today, Trump announced that the leaker has been identified. He is now in jail. I don't think it is Steve Witkoff then. So, did he say who it is? Pause. Let me just...
Found and is in jail right now. And that's the leaker on Venezuela. Very bad leaker. So there could be some others, and we'll let you know about that. We're out on their trail, but the leaker has been found, and the leaker's in jail. And will probably be in jail for a long time.
Okay, so we don't know who it is. He just there was a leaker, and he's in jail. Okay, well, thanks. Thanks for nothing. So whoever did this big bet on Iran strike tonight, if he is right, he or she, you're going to jail. But it's not the same guy, obviously, because how do you put a polymarket bet of $160,000 from jail? So, I don't know. Could be trolls, could be rich people with stupid amount of money and deciding to go max long on crazy bets. Maybe they're seeing what I'm seeing. Maybe they're watching my stream right now and they're like, hey, you know what? Maybe there is a big strike about to happen. No, but obviously this happened way before my stream, so they're not watching. Anyways, Delcy Rodriguez. This is supposed to be the vice president of Venezuela, now is assuming power since Maduro has been captured. She had a phone call today with Donald. He posted this on Truth Social. This morning I had a very good phone call with the interim president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez. We are making tremendous progress as we help Venezuela stabilize and recover. Many topics were discussed, including oil, minerals, trade, and of course national security. This partnership between the United States of America and Venezuela will be a spectacular one for all. Venezuela will soon be great and prosperous again, perhaps more so than ever before. Okay. She also had her own post saying, I held a long and courteous telephone conversation with the President of the United States, Donald Trump, conducted within a framework of mutual respect, and I know, right, so much respect, in which we addressed a bilateral work agenda for the benefit of our peoples, as well as pending matters between our governments. All right, pal. Anyways, so seems like it was a nothing burger. I thought we were going to talk about the bitcoins that they were hiding. The 600,000 bitcoins. We could have literally been MicroStrategy 2.0, but oh well. So I honestly don't know if there is any updates on the Venezuelan Bitcoin. I just think it was a big fake thing or huge speculation. I'm not saying it's fake. It absolutely could have happened. Big if true, but we don't know. The ICE agent, remember this Minneapolis shooting? The guy who fatally shot Renee Good on January 7 in Minneapolis. His name is Jonathan Ross. He suffered internal bleeding to the torso apparently following the incident, according to 2 U.S. officials briefed on his medical condition. Because they did say he was taken to the hospital. We watched the video. From an angle, it looked like he was just, pushed aside a little bit. And the shot may have seemed a bit unjustified until we got the POV footage and it looked absolutely justified. Like, if you were in that situation, you were absolutely getting ran over if you didn't have a gun. And so, did he overreact? Yeah, maybe. But okay, that's up to your decision. I know the left will disagree, so, but the right agrees. Okay. It seems like he's suffered internal bleeding is what they're saying over here. I don't know if I believe that. Internal bleeding? Come on. From that? Anyways, so questionable, but there's your little update on that, if you care. Greenland. If America needs Greenland for the Golden Dome, done. Okay. They're definitely need then they definitely need Canada as well. 51st state soon. Okay, pal. I don't know if I want to celebrate this in that sense, but sure. Didn't Trump also offer, like, we have to pay $600 billion to the United States, and we will also be part of the Golden Dome, or we could just join them. That was part of the negotiation tactic that Trump was using with Canada, trying to annex them, of course, to be the 51st state. Might happen. And with the way that it's being surrounded, I'm not sure if anybody has posted the... Oh, by the way, did you see this? That was awesome. If anybody's posted a map... Okay, that's not the map I'm looking for. You guys, I've already shown the map multiple times. The Greenland, Alaska, United States, all being American. And then Canada's just this big blop in the middle. Maybe Alberta separatism happens, right? Then you got this... There's like a missing front tooth. If you look at the Canadian map, and then same with Quebec, it's like you're missing another front tooth. It's like this weird shape. You're gonna have to just eventually annex Canada at that point, and maybe the economic pressure is gonna make them do that. Maybe Trump will do what he did to Venezuela, because there's a lot of, you know, communist influence. He's gonna do the same thing to Cuba, and I mean, from what I checked, our Prime Minister, Mark Carney, is in China and saying, oh, we should be more like China. And China said, you guys should stop dealing with the United States. Maybe you should, they're planting this evil seed in our Prime Minister, and I don't know what they're going to do about it. But anyways, back to the post here. Greenland. The United States needs Greenland for the purpose of national security. Also part of this. He's like he doesn't want any influence from any other part of the world and the whole continents of the Americas, North and South. So Trump is doing the best he can to keep all that influence out, which some people would say that's a good thing, right? They could police at least our continent. But it seems like we police the world anyway, so what's the big deal? In terms of national security, it's vital for the Golden Dome that we are building. If you don't understand the concept of the domes, it's the Iron Dome in Israel is basically this anti-missile air defense system that they have, which apparently is good, but maybe not that good. So Trump wants to do a Golden Dome, which is obviously better than an Iron Dome, and obviously more extensive because we're covering a lot more landmass. Israel is only covering their little blip of land, but the United States is, well, the United States. We're also including Alaska. We're probably going to include Hawaii, probably going to include Greenland, and I mean, if we get Canada in there too, second largest country in the world, by the way, yeah, it's going to be costly. And why do we need this anyway? Are we expecting to get nuked? But whatever. NATO should be leading the way for us to get it. If we don't get Greenland, Russia or China will. And that is not going to happen. Because he doesn't want them, like, strange people in his front yard. So he's going to do something about it. That's the same thing what he did to Venezuela. Doesn't want Russian or Chinese influence there. Venezuela was in talks about joining BRICS and all that stuff. So none of that is allowed. Militarily, without the vast power of the United States, much of which I built during my first term, by the way, just humble flex, and I'm now bringing to a new and even higher level, NATO would not be an effective force or deterrent, not even close. They know that, and so do I. NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Anything less than that is unacceptable. Thank you for your attention to the matter. Okay, great. Speaking of Canada, well, Bonnie Crombie is resigning as the Ontario Liberal leader. Not that she was in power anyway. It's Doug Ford who, I mean, he could pass off as a Liberal at this point. The guy's in love with Mark Carney. So, okay, sure. And we also have Francois Legault. He is also the Premier of Quebec, another province. He's also resigned. But he's going to remain in office until the party selects a new Premier. Okay. So, I don't know, maybe election soon for Quebec. Quebec also wants to be separated from Canada. It's always been a thing ever since I was a kid, I remember. So, yeah, there's that. We also have that the U.S. Supreme Court, the decision was supposed to be today. Will the tariffs be illegal or legal? My favorability is that tariffs good, and Trump can use them whenever he wants. Crypto bros don't want that because Trump will announce a tariff and markets will crash, and we have PTSD, and we don't want that to happen. Markets are going to crash for anything sensitive either way. We're sensitive, okay? So whatever news headlines we get, we're going to crash. Any good news, any bad news we get, we're going to crash. I mean, that's what we've experienced for the past couple months, is what it feels like at least. Except for, you know, kind of recently. We're about to go to war with Iran, but hey, we're closing in on 100K. So, you know, make of that what you will. Anyways, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, yes, we have delayed it. Supreme Court decides not to issue a highly anticipated ruling on the legality of President Trump's tariffs today, which marks the second straight time the ruling was not released as expected. The first time being end of year last year, which, that was boring, but whatever. It's getting delayed again. I don't know until when. Do we know until when? Let's, oh, there's a fact checker. True. Oh, this is cool. Oh, I already follow it. Anyway, the U.S. Supreme Court skipped releasing its ruling on Trump's tariffs today, January 14. The second delay in a row after weeks of hype. I know, right? I hyped this up a lot as well, but hey, well, we're kicking it down once again, kicking it down the road. This keeps global markets on edge as the case tests presidential emergency powers. Key evidence, I don't know if I want to read all that. Nothing important. Bottom line, the claim holds up. Expect the decision later, possibly signaling a pro-Trump outcome, per Fortune. Trade watchers, stay tuned. This could reshape U.S. policy. Yup. Okay. I do think they will be ruled in favor of Trump. And I do hope they do, because it will be good for the economy. We do need the tariffs. You do need the tariffs. And you're also not going to get your $2,000 stimulus check if this all does not get accepted, right? If it's deemed illegal. Sure, you could say, yeah, $2,000 is a good trade-off than a once in a while market crash. Sure, but hey, crashes are healthy sometimes. Just saying. Especially when they liquidate you. It's healthy for you to feel some pain. No, I'm kidding. But anyway. I'll also talk about the market structure bill, which is another thing that we were supposed to expect by tomorrow. At least half of it. The Agriculture Committee or whatever, I don't know what they have to do with crypto, but they're delaying their vote until end of month, so that's another delay. Everything is delayed. So boring. You guys remember the Trump phone, by the way? The golden Trump phone, which was apparently supposed to come out in August or something. I watched a video on it. It's like, dude, nobody's even seen it yet. It's like, doesn't even exist. You call the customer service line and they're like, yeah, no, we don't know if this even exists, by the way, but oh, you know, it was because of the government shutdown and the delay. I was like, dude, we were expecting this thing in August. What do you mean government shutdown? We're in January. Where is the darn phone? People are pre-ordering it and putting money on it, and we just don't see the phone. Where is the Trump phone? And it's just, we don't know. It's all just getting delayed. No longer made in America, by the way. It's just an American phone. Okay, all right, thanks. Great marketing. Anyways, Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, by the way, he's reviewed the market structure draft legislation, and he says that Coinbase cannot support the bill. Okay. He highlighted the following issues with the bill. A de facto ban on tokenized equities, DeFi prohibitions, giving the government unlimited access to your financial records and removing your right to privacy just by Monero. Erosion of the CFTC's, Commodity Futures Trading Committee. Is that what it stands for? I always forget the abbreviation. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, not committee. Well, I was half right. Okay, give me a break. Stifling innovation and making it subservient to the SEC. Okay. It drafts amendments that would kill rewards on stablecoins, allowing banks to ban their competition. That's another thing. We've talked about the difference between banks versus stablecoins and why banks do not like the stablecoins, or maybe they want to. How do I say it? If you can't beat them, join them. All right, pal. I don't know. I think Brian Armstrong is probably wrong. I've got a big post talking about why this is good, so let's read it. The U.S. Senate has dropped the crypto market structure draft bill. It's not that they dropped it. They're showing what it is. The This is one of the most important attempts yet to write clear rules for crypto in the US instead of forcing everything into old laws. So right now we are experiencing confusion with crypto. Nobody knows who regulates what. The SEC and the CFTC keep fighting. Projects don't know how to launch legally. Investors don't know what is safe. And so the bill tries to fix all of that. Here's everything you need to know. First, it finally defines who regulates crypto. Right now, the SEC says everything is a security, and the CFTC says crypto is a commodity. So the bill splits them clearly. Securities will be dealt with the SEC. Commodities will be dealt with the Commodities Future Trading Commission. Okay. Number 2, it creates a new asset type called ancillary assets. What is ancillary assets? Most crypto tokens are not really stocks. They don't give ownership in a company. They just give access to a network. So the bill says these tokens are not securities. They are ancillary assets, which basically means they're not treated like shares. They don't need IPO style rules, but they still need transparency. This protects innovation without killing projects. And number 3, it forces real project disclosures. So the projects must clearly show who is building it, how tokens are created, who owns how much, how the system works, what risks exist, and how the governance works. No vague white papers and all this mumbo jumbo, which, I mean, honestly, nobody reads white papers. Do you even know the Bitcoin wallpaper? Yes. White paper. No, nobody knows it. I've had a look at it, but I didn't memorize it. You know, it should be memorized like the Bible or something for crypto, right? So it's important, of course, but honestly, not a lot of people, admittedly, do not research it enough. So anyways, this should probably help. Number 4, big fundraisers must show audited data. If a project raises serious money, like $25 million or more, they must show audited financials, they must prove that the funds are real, and they must show how the money is going to be used. This kills fake treasuries and paper numbers. Because we've also seen like all these VC investments into random projects that are, I don't know, suspicious and eventually end up going nowhere. Whatever. Number 5, it protects developers and builders. Right now, one tweet can get you sued. That's crazy. This bill says that builders can talk about roadmaps, features, development plans as long as they are honest, which removes fear from innovation, because that's ultimately what we do need. When we look at, for example, decentralized exchanges, I mean, yeah, the initial innovation of DEXs were great until you just have everybody just releasing their own version of a DEX with the exact same function as everything else, maybe slightly cheaper, maybe slightly faster. I don't know. We just had, what was it, Lighter? Lighter is the new DEX that is the cool kid on the block. The Hyperliquid killer or whatever. No, Hyperliquid did it best, and nothing is going to replace it until something actually innovative comes out. What that's going to be, I don't know, so good luck and more power to you if you eventually find something good. But yeah, anyways, removing fear from innovation, like I said, that's what's necessary. Number 6, it creates a legal path for decentralization. Projects can start centralized, then slowly decentralized. And some people are saying maybe this is like the Zcash treatment, by the way. So it started off centralized, kind of. It is still private. It's optionally private, which is what made Zcash good. The optional functionality, arguably, right? Because you get listed on more exchanges, there's more confidence in it and all that. And then they slowly decentralize. I mean, hey, decentralized meaning nobody else controls it. The whole dev team is gone for Zcash, so what else do you expect? Once sufficiently decentralized, they will stop being treated like securities, and regulation becomes lighter. This is massive for Ethereum-type networks. Number 7, it regulates exchanges properly. So crypto exchanges must register, separate user funds from company funds, follow custody rules, follow market surveillance, and prevent wash trading. We don't want another FTX to happen. This makes crypto trading closer to stock markets. Yes, let's centralize everything. It bans wash trading and fake volume, so rip Aster, rip Binance. Wash trading becomes illegal. Fake liquidity becomes criminal. This directly protects retail traders. And it also criminalizes spoofing and front running. No more fake buy-sell walls. No more insider order abuse. No more exchange manipulation, which is big. It brings fairness. Number 10, it introduces proof of reserves. Every exchange must show that they actually hold the user funds. There is regular verification and there's transparency. Once again, to avoid FTX-style failures. Number 11, it brings DeFi into financial planning. DeFi is now officially part of financial infrastructure, part of cybersecurity planning, part of systemic risk monitoring. So what the bill really means, bottom line, if you didn't pay attention to anything I said in the last 20 minutes, is that crypto is moving from chaos, lawsuits, regulatory fear, gray areas, to defined laws, clear categories, real protections, and institutional access. Good. So maybe Clarity Act good overall. Like I said, one specific department will be voting on it, the banking committee, I think it was. But then the agriculture committee is delaying it until end of month because Democrats are not doing their job. But okay, let's talk about Monero since we were on the topic of privacy and Zcash and all that. Monero good, okay. Low supply on exchanges, supply shock currently going on. Crooks are trying to clearly find ways out, which is why Dubai banned it. Countries are falling apart, like Iran and Venezuela. There has been recent Tether wallet freezes. Nobody likes to get their money frozen. And if your money is able to get frozen, then it's not truly decentralized. And there's also low interest in other coins, causing people to pile in on one coin, which is why we're seeing Monero just go absolutely bonkers. Great. Now, 10K Monero. I forgot what the market cap for that would be, but I'm assuming it's something crazy high, maybe higher than Ethereum. I don't know. We don't got to think too much. 10K, you're expecting maybe more than a 10x here, so 130 million. We'll be safe with saying 200 million. You're expecting it to be in the top 5 at least. Is that actually going to happen? Monero top 5. Honestly, maybe. Why is Cardano still here, honestly? Get that out. Dogecoin, get out. Memes are dead. Tron. Scammer. Justin Sun. Okay, but more than Solana, though, like, that's where I start to be like, hold on a minute. Solana is very oversold. Still. 81 million market cap. Or billion, not million. We used to be 130 billion. That's not even that much. Alright, cool. Do not buy Monero. This is a satirical post, so do the opposite of what it says. Some of you may have noticed this cryptocurrency all over your timeline while feeling confused as to why it is not listed in your favorite exchange. I know it's Binance. When it's outperforming every other asset in the planet year to date. Here's a lesson for all of you. Monero is a privacy-focused coin that you should stay as far away as possible from because upon obtaining it, it allows you to transact anonymously with other individuals and avoid taxation. That's bad. No, it's good. This is all good, by the way. It increases the value of your purchasing power in time against other assets. Lame. And it has censorship resistance money to carry around with you. Not good. It's good. This coin is delisted from most exchanges for your own good. No, it's because they don't want you having privacy. They want to know what you're buying. Please spread awareness and let others know to avoid this cryptographic currency as much as possible. That's funny. And, I mean, we're starting to see it come out a little bit. Just a little bit. But, yeah. Oh boy, another long post. Dude, am I just gonna... Okay, we're gonna go through it either way because we do have to talk about this. Have you guys looked at silver at all? It's still going crazy. And it's gonna get worse in a good way. Toward the upside. Silver. What are we at? 93, okay. We just crashed like a couple minutes ago to 86, 88. That's fine. Gold and silver, we'll talk about commodities in general. What you're seeing isn't just a commodity supercycle, it's a full-blown currency collapse. If you think that's bullish, you're wrong. Last time this happened, Stocks dropped 58%. Why one should be worried? I'm not worried, but whatever, we'll read this. The dollar is losing its value right in front of our eyes. It always has been. The bond market finally called the Treasury's bluff. Nobody believes the US can pay back $40 trillion debt in real terms anymore. I like to believe we can, but oh well. For 40 years, treasuries were risk-free, but now they are the risk. Large players are dumping debt aggressively and forcing a repricing of the entire system. They aren't buying metals to make money. The goal is exit. This is how it works. You dump the bonds, you spike the yields, you force the Fed to panic print to buy their own debt. The yield curve control. That print is the gasoline that sends gold to 10,000 and silver to 150. Okay, I don't know if that's truly feasible. Gold 10,000? You're going to need to put double the US national debt in there to make that happen, I think. No, not even. No, yeah, you actually do. What follows is inevitable. Not double the US debt, by the way. I'm thinking about this in mathematical terms. You just have to add the US debt to that, and you get gold 10,000. We are entering a crack-up boom. Everything goes up in nominal terms, but you get poorer. Stocks will rip higher, but that is just inflation. You pay tax on profits that are basically useless. Real estate freezes, prices stay high on paper, but nobody can afford the mortgage. Liquidity completely vanishes. Once the psychology shifts, the velocity of money explodes. People will dump paychecks immediately for anything tangible like metals. So you need to watch the flows. The gold-silver ratio is about to compress hard. Silver does have way more room to run. Is this the end of the financial system as we know it? Yes, absolutely. But everyone will lie to you and say that we're all about to become millionaires, when in fact you would need $3 million to be considered a millionaire, and it's about to get worse. I've been in macro for more than 20 years. I've called the last 3 major market tops and bottoms publicly. Okay, wow. So I'll worship this guy. When I make a new move, I'll share it here for everyone to see so you can copy me. Alright, pal. If you want to protect your money, all you have to do is follow me. Okay, alright. I'm not gonna reply with money and check your DMs. Alright, pal. We're not gonna do that. But whatever. Believe that if you will. I will not. The largest silver and gold bullion dealer in the US just imposed a $10,000 minimum on orders to deal with massive volume of orders on their system. It's a supply shock. APMEX posted this letter on their website. They're adding 4 extra shipping days to all orders to allow extra time to fill orders. You're adding a $10,000 minimum order to reduce the workload from small orders, and pre-sale items removed unless they think they can ship within 2 weeks. It's only when customers are selling metals to APMEX, not when retail is buying from APMEX. So that's the distinction. Okay. So it's about too much metal coming in, not a lack of buyers. Okay, never mind. So there's the difference. And the post was already deleted. Wow. Fact checked in real time. Nerd. The US Mint has suspended all sales of silver products. So it seems like they're being a liquid. I thought it was a silver supply shock, potentially. Here's something else though. To maintain transparency and positive customer experience, we're reaching out to share an important update. Due to the metals cost, pricing adjustments are being evaluated across all numismatic products. In addition, rapidly rising silver prices may result in silver numismatic products being temporarily removed from sale while the pricing is updated. We are working expeditiously to update pricing in order to maintain product availability. Scarcity. However, we want to communicate in advance in case you notice the changes on the US Mint website. Once the pricing has been updated, we will notify you. For more information, click on the suspicious link. Please note that subscriptions are subject to pricing adjustments. Please review your active subscriptions. Okay, thank you. Short squeeze, basically. Not short squeeze. I think that's a supply shock is what they mean. So, silver supply shock basically confirmed. My last bit of news. I'm losing my voice. Elon Musk says Tesla's full self-driving will switch to a monthly subscription and they will remove the one-time purchase option. Okay, good. We hate subscriptions. Just give us the big sauce all at once. So yeah, that's what to expect. Okay, I ignored completely the inflation data, so let's briefly talk about it, although it didn't really change much in terms of like projections, right? That's not what I wanted. Here. So let me go to this week. Tuesday, yesterday, we had the core inflation rate, inflation data, CPI data. It came in less than expected and some in line with expectations, which is a good thing. Inflation is not on the rise, at least not on the consumer side. For the producer side, though, this is what sort of concerns me, kind of, almost. Month over month, the rise is not too much, lower than expectations, which is good. And in line with expectations. You know what? No, we're good. Inflation is not rising as much as we expect, which is a good thing. So this should also increase odds of a rate cut, supposedly, right? We already know 95% chance that we will not be getting a rate cut in January or in the next upcoming months. Rate cuts we expect is going to happen in June and in September. And the odds of that happening has been increased. The odds of a rate hike are not even on the table. So that should be good overall. There's your economic data. And do we have any more, by the way? I forgot. No. So next week we're getting PCE. That is the more important one when it comes to inflation metrics. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, so what do I expect? We go to war with Iran, we drop 5% on Bitcoin, we buy, we go max long, and then we make profits. That's all. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with more crypto news. It's awesome. And hey, if we don't attack Iran, then, well, I don't know what to do. Everything is pointing towards we're about to attack them, and this time for real. So if nothing happens, then I will no longer believe them. There you go. All right, have a good rest of your evening. Bye.